Okay, so bear with me as I go through this week's action alerts. They are a little lengthy. Apologies in advance. All right, Bloody Sunday. Does anybody know what Bloody Sunday is? I think we talked about this last week a little bit. Tony Viet?
Yeah, Bloody Sunday is where Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King and a bunch of other folks walked over to
Edmund Pettus, yep.
Pettus Bridge for voting rights, and then it was got on camera on TV, saw the brutal bloodshed that happened.
That's right.
And that's was the big reason why voting rights and civil rights happened.
Excellent. Let's clap Tony Viet up. Let's clap that up. Good job. So on Sunday, Reverend Sharpton, well, 2 Sundays ago, was in Selma, Alabama to commemorate the 59th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, which Tony just explained. When civil rights leaders like John Lewis, the late John Lewis, and countless others were tear-gassed and beaten as they marched for the right to vote. Vice President Kamala Harris spoke at the foot of the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Edmund Pettus was a grand dragon in the Ku Klux Klan, and it needs to be taken, that needs to be changed. We are petitioning for it to be, I think it's not even petitioned, I think it's already like on the floor. They're trying to get it to be changed to the John Lewis Bridge, which would be great. But Edmund Pettus is an extreme racist and a coward, in my opinion, and I think that should be changed. But that's why the name of the bridge is called the Edmund Pettus Bridge, for those who do not know. But anyway, yes. So spoke at the foot of the Edmund Pettus Bridge and walked alongside Reverend Sharpton as they and hundreds of others marched over the bridge last Sunday. Today, we know our fight for freedom is not over, because in this moment we are witnessing a full-on attack on hard-fought, hard-won freedom, starting with the freedom that unlocks all others, the freedom to vote, said the Vice President. Reverend Sharpton pushed a wheelchair carrying one of the original foot soldiers from that Bloody Sunday 59 years ago and was surrounded by the Vice President on one side and Attorney Ben Crump on the other. Clergy, activists, elected officials, and people from around the country came to Selma on Sunday to remember the sacrifices of the past and the importance of preserving our rights. I was one of the people that went with Rev to Selma a few years ago. We took some Huddle youth leaders, and Christian expressed last week that he wanted to go too. So we got to get a contingency of youth leaders again, and then we can bring y'all on the road to help lead that march. But for Selma, why it was important for me personally, and even we went to Memphis this past Tuesday for our funeral, but we thought it was important to take us, myself, Stephen, and JT, to where Dr. King was killed. And basically it was the Lorraine Motel where Dr. King was shot and killed. Bless you, Patrice. But basically, why that was important is because in the Kingian nonviolence tradition, right, in this time, it's 2024. And if you looked around and if you've been a part of the movement for a while and you know the different groups, it wasn't a lot of people in Selma that you could identify from the journey. It wasn't a lot still left. I'll say that. A lot of our leaders have been killed, but a lot have died. A lot of the real frontline soldiers are gone or cannot be frontline anymore. Jesse Jackson cannot even walk anymore. So their children are no longer outside leading the marches. So there's a new group, a new generation of young leaders and advocates. But I don't know if they value, and I'm being very, very transparent, I don't know if they value the nonviolent Kingian tradition of activism. So in my opinion, for those left, I know I'm one of the few people who understand that in my age group what the value of that is. And that's what we try to teach y'all in Huddle. And I know y'all probably look at me, y'all really don't understand what it is, but basically the fact that we're not outside telling people to burn things down, that's a nonviolent tradition of activism. There's ways to do it in a peaceful way. There's ways to do it with strategy. Montgomery bus boycott was one of the greatest nonviolent acts of activism that we know of in history that they still teach about. The Greensboro, they were basically well, we're not even going, but basically there are so many examples in history of nonviolent activism, but today they don't really talk about it, and it's not really encouraged, and a lot of loudmouth, but it's more so provocative talking is kind of promoted, and basically say what you want and say how you feel, but exactly who you talking to? You're outside talking to empty buildings. You're talking to nobody, you're talking to each other. But we need to speak truth to power in order to do that and organize that properly, that there's a certain strategy that comes with that. And that is what Reverend Sharpton tries to teach us, and that's what I'm trying to teach us here, so that you all understand we have the baton for Dr. King's movement. We are some of the last ones left, and I'm saying that I hope you guys really understand that. And the adults in the room, I'm sure you do. But the young people need to understand that we are the young people that carry on the tradition of Dr. King. So it's on us to fully understand that. Understand what that means, understand the responsibility, understand the burden, and understand that we have to learn that history and teach it to those around us. And then as leaders, take action and teach others to follow. Okay? As far as organizing. I want you guys to understand that. So when we go to Selma, when we do stuff like that, it's not just, they just went to Alabama and they went to go stay in a hotel. It's not about that at all. It's basically about preserving the landmarks and preserving and understanding what this history is about. There's no reason to come to NAN if you don't understand the movement. This is not just to gather together. Reverend Sharpton sacrificed his entire life for something that he believed in. And we want you to understand what that fight is about, because if they didn't do that, we might not be as advanced as we are today. So now it's on y'all, and I'm serious. It's on us while we fight for DEI every Thursday. I know some people are outside just coming just so y'all can eat, but DEI will impact the next generation. I'm serious. It will impact how our young people are going to school. It will impact how y'all get jobs. It will impact how you go to college. Just because, and you'll be like, oh wait, DEI, I remember that was something like 20 years, they was talking about that in there. That laid the platform for us, for y'all 30 years from now. So I want y'all to take it more seriously and understand what we're trying to teach y'all. Even if you don't understand, I want you to ask questions like, what are y'all talking about? What does that mean? Who is that? When y'all see elected official and a lot of people come and take pictures and they post it on Facebook, they don't even know what the councilman does. So I want y'all to challenge us with that. I'm dead serious. I know y'all looking at me like, Ash, what? But I'm so serious. Why I became Ashley to my father and to my mother, I asked questions about everything. Annoying little girl. But I thought I knew everything, and I asked questions. I challenged everything. Why? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me. Why are you doing that? Well, you said at the rally not to do that. So why are you doing that? Challenge it. Make it make sense to you, because if it doesn't make sense, you'll never want to do it. And you'll never understand what you're doing. So I dare y'all to ask questions. I dare y'all to make sure that it makes sense to you. Because y'all shouldn't just be coming here just because somebody made y'all come. Or because y'all want to eat on a Monday. Just telling you, okay? Moving on. So, next, health equity. What does health equity mean? Anybody? Okay, let's break it down. Equity? Let's try equity. Okay, you said health, that's the key word. Anthony, I saw your hand.
To be healthy in the mentality of how you live in,
Okay, good guess. Let's type that up. Ernest Waters. Okay, so that's equity. Now let's put it with health. Christian, what do you think? No?
Yes, where everybody has an equal chance in the medical room.
Good. Okay, let's wrap that up. He said, well, everybody has an equal chance in the medical world. Anybody want to add to that? I think that was good. Okay, so basically, Reverend Sharpton and the singer Albie Shore, the old crooner, R&B crooner, Albie Shore, sorry. I didn't mean to offend anyone. Sorry. Reverend Sharpton and Albie Shore have teamed up to demand equity and fairness in transplantation. So they are calling on the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid to restore Medicare coverage for critical blood tests that detect early signs of organ rejection. The coverage was rolled back 1 year ago by a private contractor, and those most impacted by the rollback of these life-saving blood tests are disproportionately Black, Latino, and other underserved communities. Albie Shore, who was gravely ill and in a coma, he literally almost died, like some people saw basically that whole process, received a life-saving liver transplant and has since become a fierce advocate for fairness in the healthcare system. He and Reverend Sharpton formed the Health Equity in Transplantation Coalition last year, where he serves as the executive chairman, and Reverend Sharpton is the senior advisor. 1 year after a private contractor rolled back coverage, Reverend Sharpton and Albie Shore are still calling on government agencies to reinstate the vital services. For more information, you can visit Health Equity and Transplantation Coalition website or nationalactionnetwork.net. All right, just a reminder that we are outside for DEI. There are several articles about DEI for today, so I'm not going to go into full details about that, but it's very, very important. I guess they hear us because they are definitely strengthening their attack against us, like they are really going crazy. So we definitely need y'all to join us every Thursday. Brother Ron McHenry, who leads the efforts here, Brother Christian, every Thursday at 12, but we need to be adding on to that as well. So we need to make sure we're there from 12 to 1, downtown in front of Bill Ackman's office, but we also need to make sure that we're paying attention about what they're doing, literally from the courts. Now it's going into the NBA, with sports. So just listen out, because this is real. It's impacting everyone. Last but not least, when is the 2024 NAN convention? Anybody, yell it out. All right, good. Okay, so we all on the same page. Everyone registered? Who is not registered? Let's do that. Who is not registered for the NAN convention? Mumsis! Well, for those watching, that's only one person in the room out of everybody else, so that's a great thing. So we're going to clap that up, that everybody's registered. Make sure you go register at nationalnetwork.net. It is free to register. The schedule's supposed to be out last week. I'm not going to tell you when it's going to be out because I said last week it's going to be last Wednesday and it was not out, so I'm going to leave that up to the powers that be. All right? You just make sure you register. You make sure you're there, and then you'll find out who else will be there. All right? Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Let's give Ashley a hand. And as Ashley said, make sure that you guys are registered. For those that did not register, which was only one person, please make sure that everybody else is registered. And make sure you register your friends, register your family members, whoever else you want to register, make sure you register. And we also are looking for volunteers. So if you have the spirit of hospitality, make sure that you volunteer. If you don't have the spirit of hospitality, do not sign up to volunteer. We don't need mean people trying to talk to the people down at the Sheraton. So make sure that you have a good spirit and that it is one of the gifts that God gave you. All right? All right, now, today we have a new huddler who has been coming on Saturdays with her grandma. Grandma, raise your hand. She's been coming, great grandma. All right, give her a hand, that's even better. And she has been coming every Saturday, but this is her first Monday, and she has already volunteered to do our Black History Fact for the day. So for our Black History Fact, I'm going to call up Zamara. Did I say your name right? Zamira. Myra. Give her a hand as she comes up.
This day in Black history, March 11, 1926, minister and civil rights leader Ralph David Abernathy was born in Marengo County, Alabama. On March 11, 1926, minister and civil rights leader Ralph David Abernathy was born in Marengo County, Alabama. Abernathy was ordained as a Baptist minister in 1948, and in 1951 he led the First Baptist Church in Montgomery. A prominent figure of the civil rights movement, he was a close ally of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., joining forces with King to organize the iconic Montgomery bus boycott in 1955 and appearing alongside him at many other demonstrations. Along with King, Abernathy co-founded the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the most prominent civil rights group of the era. He led the SCLL's Poor People campaign after King's assassination in 1968. On April 17, 1990, Abernathy passed away in Atlanta from complications resulting from blood clots in his heart and lungs. He was 64. Yeah.
Give her a hand. Thank you so much. Didn't she do good for her first try? It's not easy being up here, so thank you so much for allowing yourself to do that. Now we are going to have our Artivism segment by our very own Brother Anthony. Let's give Anthony a hand as he comes.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. First off, I'd like to say I'm humbled to be here. I thank y'all for the opportunity. Learned from last week, a little bit of a fumble up. I rushed up here and tried to put something together. It wasn't that great. So today we're going to introduce Tony Veer as our first artist on Justice Records doing The Way I Like My Rap.
The way I like my rap is by Philly Phil. That's my rap nickname, Philly Phil. Here we go. My name is Philly Phil, and I aim to thrill. I never take it easy, and I never will. The way I write my rhyme is going to give you a chill, and when you hear my music slamming, you can never be ill. I like rap music because I think it's hip. You can cut and scratch your record, but you can't let it skip. When you hold the microphone, you better not lose your grip, and if your rhymes are real hype, the crowd will flip. The way I write my words, they will always rhyme. Your DJ plays my record in the nick of time to save the party people from the whack and slime, and when they see me, they say, Phil, this rap is prime. This record will make you spend your hard-earned cash so you can put this into your personal stash. The first time you hear it, you know it's a smash, and you won't ever want to listen to that other trash. The way I like my rap, the way I like my, that's the way I like my rap. That's the way I like my rap. The way I like my, that's the way I like my rap. That's the way I like my rap. I like all music, but I like rap best. My lyrics and delivery are full of zest. For you to buy my record shouldn't be a quest. And once you play it at home, you never give it a rest. Every time you play my record, you become spellbound because you can't believe this brother can't produce this sound. But my music and lyrics are so profound, it's no surprise I made a hit the first time around. Listen to my music, it just feels right. The biggest, widest people on their feet are light. You rock it with the music because it sounds so tight, you're going to have a fit if you don't dance all night. The music that you hear in the background is hot. You got to pump your body whether you like it or not. All the DJs, when they hear this, will devise a plot to be the first to play my record at their night spot. The way I like my rap. The way I like my, that's the way I like my rap. That's the way I like my rap. The way I like my, that's the way I like my rap. That's the way I like my rap. The parties on the weekend start about 10. When they play my music once, they got to play it again. The ladies, when they hit us, want to dance with the men. And if she's really a honey, you need a paper and pen. The fellas dress dope and the ladies are fly. They jam it to the beat with their hands in the sky. You got to pay attention, can't blink your eye, or the lover of your life is going to pass you by. Now you're rocking your brain, checking your gear, trying to figure out how to get near that cutie on the corner with the sexy rear. And if you guess right, yo, out of here. You grab your girl to get ready to go. You remember this record, improve your flow. You tell yourself that Philly Phil has set the tempo because he found one thing that Bo don't know. The way I like my rap. The way I like my rap. That's the way I like my rap. All right.
Thank you, Tony. That was great. Wow. So that's the type of things that we have to be careful about. Tony had a little slip there, used some profanity, so we want to apologize for that. Gino's left. He's not feeling it at all. Well, I had something nice prepared. I have to get it looked over and get it approved. Make sure that we don't have any bumble ups like that again, so that everybody can continue on and enjoy themselves, and the artist segment can be good. So, with that being said, we're going to get to the next segment and give it back to our host.
Thank you so much to our artivism here. We have a very good arts and culture committee here at the National Action Network, so y'all should join and look at the different committees that we have, and that is artivism. Now I'm going to call Gino. Gino, you're going to come and do the membership and text alerts. Let's give Gino a hand.
Hi, everybody. Is everybody an updated member for the year 2024? Have you renewed your membership? If not, this applies to you as well as those who are not members. The best way to stay informed and in action is to become a member of NAN. Stay informed about NAN events close to where you live. Text Justice followed by your state to 59769. 59769. And then join us every Saturday at the rally at 9 a.m.
Thank you. And make sure you hear that. Is everybody an updated member? All right, make sure you guys get your membership cards in the mail, because I got mine, so make sure you get yours. And make sure if you have any questions, House of Justice is always 9 to 5 here, Monday through Friday, for questions, comments, concerns. And if you want to hear the Reverend himself, come here on Saturday. Many people call, oh, can I talk to Reverend Sharpton? The Reverend is not here. Come on Saturday at 9 a.m. and you'll see the Reverend for yourself, all right? Or if you don't, if you want to come Monday through Friday, you can see him all around the walls, but the Reverend is not here. All right, now we're going to open up this segment to good news. Now wait a minute. This is good news from last Monday to today. These are not announcements. All announcements go to NAN Youth Huddle at gmail.com. NAN Youth Huddle at gmail.com. This is good news. So anybody with good news, you have some good news, Mr. Arthur? Okay, good news. No announcements, good news. Bless you.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say I was here Saturday for the auditions, and we have some fantastic entertainers this time. This year is going to be really, really good, and the models, fantastic. The little girls are so cute. They really are. They're very cute little girls. They know their stuff, too, because they've been with Ashley for a while. And this is going to be really talent. Some of them are very unique talent. And I think we're all going to have a good time at this one. And Ashley, I give you so much credit because you did a lot of good picking of people. Some of them were very great. Some of them was very great. And I'm thinking that this is going to be a big show this time.
Praise God.
Bigger than a lot of the other ones.
Clap.
And I give you my hats off to that. Thank you.
Yes, that is what he's talking about. We had our casting on, come here, Marcus Al, I know you want to come, come on. What was I saying? We had our casting for our Youth Day fashion show, thank you. And so that is Saturday the 13th. What time does the fashion show normally start? 7 p.m. Starts at 5, I'm sorry, 5 to 7. Sorry, Patrice confused me, 5 to 7. And so make sure y'all are at the Sheridan. Saturday is Youth Day, all day long. And so make sure y'all are there. Now Marcus Al has some good news for us. Go ahead.
I go to another aquarium.
You went to another aquarium? And what did you see?
And I didn't see any whales or dolphins or alligators or crocodiles or sea turtles. I saw clownfish, and I saw silky sharks. I saw sea lions, and I saw manta rays, and also stingrays.
Yeah. Give Marcus Al a hand. That's a lot of sea creatures. Marcus Al, never mind. I was going to scar the kid. I don't want to scar him. Never mind. Come on. We got to take him fishing one day. Fishing at the aquarium. Go ahead. I started stingray. Go ahead, that's it.
Was Friday, I think. Friday, I was able to check my grade, and then I upped my grade in algebra to 100 now.
Give him hand for good grades.
I got a 91 now in ELA, and I still got my 100 in history.
Excellent. Very good. Go ahead.
I was today, I was talking to someone today, and the young lady was telling me that she was homeless, and her brother put her out, and he's a minister of God. He's a man of God, but why would you put your sister out? But I gave her $1. And also, I looked up some history online about Obama telling us, I don't have my reading glasses, but if you want to read it quick.
About Obama? Is this good news about Obama?
Yeah, he's telling us, I see some Democrats unite. Barack Obama is alarmed, and he is calling on Americans everywhere to wake up. If we want our children to grow up in a true Democrat, we need to protest it. That's right?
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not reading it all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our good news.
Well, this is good news for me. Last week I had a traumatic incident. I got stabbed, and I'm here today. Thank you.
Jesus. Well, we are going to continue to pray for you and to make sure that he is continued to be uplifted and that all goes well with him. All right? All right. Now we are going to begin our Did You Know segment, and we are going to call up our House of Justice coordinator. We have about a good amount of time for each of them, so we want to make sure that we get our House of Justice coordinator up here as soon as possible. So let's give up our House of Justice coordinator, Reverend Ronald McHenry. Go ahead, give him a hand.
And we're so excited. We're so excited. Okay, so the title of our article on this evening is Reverse Racism. So the girls are seen getting jumped by black girls in a video, causing an uproar. So a Missouri teen is reported in critical condition after a high school fight. Social media commenters claim that the things would be different if she were a black girl. So the question for this article, are claims of reverse racism used to silence discussions about privilege and inequality? I'll ask it again at the end of the article. So a viral video allegedly shows a group of Missouri high schoolers jumping another girl and causing a racial uproar on social media, with some commentators aligning or saying reverse racism. An unidentified teen girl who appears to be white was reportedly hospitalized and in critical condition after a fight near Hazelwood East High School on Friday. In the video, a group of teens who appear to be black are seen punching and kicking the girl on the ground. The police responded to the fight and arrested a 15-year-old suspect on assault charges. The video caught the attention of controversial figures on social media, largely because the suspect's races of the suspect and the injured girl. Charlie Kirk, founder of the Turning Points USA and the man behind a campaign to discredit Dr. King, circulated images of the fight, calling the other teen girls a mob. His followers quickly launched onto the fighting, complaining of reverse racism and targeting the race of the girls on the video. So the question that I have for you in the audience is, are claims of reverse racism used to silence discussions about privilege and inequality? Come up and give your thoughts. Don't be shy, come on now. Again, I'm going to pose the question again. Are claims of reverse racism used to silence discussions about privilege or inequality?
Yeah, aside from the article, good day everybody and God bless everybody. I'm so glad we're here together. Aside from the article, which I'm not going to really relate to, but affirmative action is what they use to claim reverse racism to cancel affirmative action. So if they had dealt legitimately with affirmative action, they would have known that the reason they need affirmative action because it's still racism. People who are highly qualified, who are black people or so-called non-white people who are highly qualified, are not getting hired now because the so-called white people are claiming that affirmative action causes reverse discrimination against qualified white people. But that's not true either, because there's more opportunities for white people to get employed and get educated in certain schools, and affirmative action is what opened a whole lot of doors for people who were inflicted with racism. So we need affirmative action, and it was canceled with the claim of reverse racism.
Thank you so much, Reverend Word. Put your hands together for Reverend Word.
In everything that happens, all of the time, they try to make us look bad. So if they try to make us look bad and they reverse whatever we fought for and strive for, and they take it away because they make us look bad, we as people have to get together and try to reverse that around, because in every incident, whether the person is rich or poor, they all get together and try to make us all look bad, because racism comes because they don't like us because we're black, and it's all over the place. I mean, they had the nerve to tell people in Europe that we had something growing on our backs, and the people from Europe had the nerve to come over here and ask, all of these years, come on, really? So racism is always gonna be there, but we're gonna have to do something to change the situation around, because we get hyped, and when we get hyped, it doesn't matter. We ready to throw down. So we got to change that around, and we got to be cool, because we should know by now what they're doing, leading us into something so they could take something away from us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ernest. Give him a hand, y'all. Let me just repeat the question to make sure that everyone is on topic. Are claims of reverse racism used to silence discussions about privilege and or inequality?
Absolutely. And the process that they use, they try to keep it invisible, but it's called the white fragility mental model. White fragility means that if you're talking to me about racism, you must be racist. It is narcissistic gaslighting as a mindset and as a culture for protecting themselves, and it doesn't make any work. And I saw an exercise on YouTube video by a lady named Jane Elliott. Everybody should see that. It's called the Blue Eyes exercise, where blue-eyed people are being criticized about because they're not brown-eyed, and all of a sudden, even though they're all white, they want to give each other a hard time, beat each other up, cry, scream, rant, rave, all of that stuff. So they are so paranoid about failing that they cannot stop protecting themselves and blame you for it, because they operate like they're narcissists. I'm complete.
Thank you so much, Tony Veer.
I was 15 years old, going to school in a white neighborhood. I didn't know that those people was Italians. They were almost pushed the bus. They were outside, we were on the bus, and they were nearly pushing the bus. And it was an old bus that was in the 70s. And they were pushing it. The bus driver didn't open the door because those people wanted to attack us or hurt us. But it's going on with the videos, on with the children, and this is what they're looking at. They're looking at the phones, they're getting the information from the phone, but it's so bad when our people, we as people, are being blamed for everything that someone else is doing, and they're going to throw it our way.
Thank you so much. And our last contributor.
Leslie Parson, grandson, Yvonne Lee, nephew. My But I missed out last week on about J. Edgar Hoover. But I wanted to say about the CIA that the actual address or building that CIA where is planted Robert Bush name is actually on that street block. Affirmative action, I feel that when we help each other, they turn it around and turn it that we not helping each other, that we just going against each other. Like my mother is 64 years old, so she went through the Black Panther Party and all that. So like I think it's the 10-day plan or I gotta go back into my research. But when we helping each other, they turn it around and say that we're not helping each other and we going against the grain, in which we not.
Thank you very much for that. And just to piggyback off what you're saying, they are using everything that they can to discredit what we've gained in the 60s. They are saying that the rights that we've gained as far as affirmative action and voting rights is something that we shouldn't have, and that it is something that is putting us ahead. And the reality of the matter is they don't want to give Black history its credence. They don't want to acknowledge that laws kept us from reading, laws kept us from access to get jobs, laws kept us from access to health care and everything in this country. So things like DEI were put in place so that it could kind of get equality where it needs to be. So the program, they are using everything they can. The guy who launched this campaign to talk about this, his name was Charlie Kirk. He's the founder of the Turning Point, but he is also leading a campaign to discredit Dr. King. He's leading I'm going to say that again, a campaign to discredit the person in this country who fought against inequality through a nonviolent way. And let's get it, yes, Dr. King had many speeches, and yes, he's a glorified reverend, but what he was able to do was get laws changed. But in our day, these laws have been reversed. And what they're saying, it's a reverse racism, but you were never put in shackles. You were never put at the bottom of the food chain. Your families were never separated. You wasn't dragged here on purpose. You came here. We made Cotton King, and you decided to come over here. Your riches are based on the work of us. You say that you have to do hard work to get ahead. But if that were true, we would be kings in gold and draped in all kinds of silk, because our forefathers worked and made you rich. So when it comes down to hard work, you are telling a plain old lie.
Oh, God. Oh, help me.
This is the season of where we pull back the curtain. It is not reverse racism. It's just straight up racism. Our forefathers fought it, and it's today that we must fight it. Get to know your history, because in the knowledge of your history is the knowledge of your weapon to fight the mantles and the demonic forces that continue to keep racism alive. With that, I close, and we're going to be back into our host. Come out on Thursday, 12 to 1, in front of Bill Ackman's office, y'all.
Can we please give the Reverend Ronald McHenry a hand? Not McHenry, McHenry, Reverend McHenry. Didn't he give us a very good sermon? You know, Ron get up here, he don't sit down. Gotta be careful who you give the mic to. All right, for our next Did You Know, we have our Did You Know now that is going to be on DEI and the Oscars, which Dominique Sharpton is now going to come at this time with our Did You Know. Let's give Dominique a hand.
Good evening, everyone. So I don't know how many people watched
the Oscars. Did anybody watch it? No? You watched it? Okay. Okay. As I'm trying to get the article to come up, I wanted to just announce that many of y'all know I went to college at Temple University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I'm very, very excited and proud of my friend, Davine Joy Randolph, who was my roommate in college, freshman year of Temple University, and she won her first Oscar and her first nomination for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in The Holdovers. So I don't know if y'all watched the Oscars last night, but that was my friend, Davine. And she won. It was her first time being nominated for an Oscar, and she won. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of her. You know how you hear those stories like, I remember you win? She was always an amazing, amazing entertainer. We always knew that, you know, she was destined for success and she was going to go far. And we used to tell, you know, our stories, and she used to keep me up all night talking about her dreams. She had an incredible singing voice, and I don't know if you've known her career, but she actually started off being on Broadway as an opera singer. And her mother, she talked about it last night in her speech, but her mother kept trying to encourage her to get into theater. She had started her career as a singer, and is an amazing vocalist. But her mother encouraged her to try theater out, and so she did. And here we are now. 20, I don't want to say 20 years, but nah, I ain't graduate that much time. 20 years would be my high school reunion, but 15 or so years later, and she's walking across that Oscar stage accepting her first Oscar. She's the 10th Black woman to win in this category, following some greats like Regina King and Whoopi Goldberg and Monique and Jennifer Hudson. Only a few. When Hattie McDowell was the first Black woman to win in this category, and so she's number 10, which is a very special number. And McDaniel, thank you. And then Whoopi Goldberg, whom we are honored to be having to join us at the Keepers of the Dream Awards this year. So there are a very select few women of color who have won this particular award in this particular category. And I'm just happy to say I know Davine, and I know she's going far. I know this is not going to be the last time we see her walk across that stage. So wanted to definitely congratulate her, my special Philly girl who won her Oscar last night. It was a joy to watch her, Davine Joy Randolph, to win that award. Okay, so now this leads me into my article that the Oscars now have DEI rules. So you heard Reverend McHenry up here talking about DEI, and as you know, we are continuing our efforts in protesting to keep DEI alive. But some people are saying that the DEI constraints or rules that are set in the Oscars are just a performance. And I want to talk about that, because it seems like, why is it when it comes to talking about our rights and talking about people of color and what we deserve and what we are rightful to have and to gain and to progress, why does it have to be performative? Why does it have to be something that is configured to be not relative to reality? It's something that's put on to keep us satisfied, to keep us happy. I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I think that people need to definitely be more innovative and be more expressive, especially in a creative sense. And in entertainment, I think that it's important to be more inclusive and to not apologize for that, to not feel like it's put on when we're looking out to make sure that people of color have access and opportunities to to the highest accolades that entertainment provides. And so This article talks about the national reckoning over, of course, from racial justice after the killing of George Floyd spurred, and how DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion began to be implemented in corporations across the country. After years of criticism for overlooking, particularly in entertainment, female directors and actors of color, the Academy announced a torrent of diversity-oriented changes. One high-profile move involved the Academy's most coveted trophy. To qualify for the Best Picture Oscar, films had to fulfill a new set of diversity and inclusion standards. This new rule, enforced for the very first time on this past Sunday's ceremony, is complicated, but it is expansive. A checklist of 4 categories and 9 subcategories cover almost every aspect of the filmmaking pipeline. Diversity in hiring actors, directors, makeup artists, publicists, interns is considered. So is the movie's plot. To qualify, films must show that they meet 2 of the 4 main categories of representation: on screen, which is actors or the plot; off-screen leadership, which includes set designers and makeup artists; training, programs, and also marketing. So I think that that is, putting constraints over what films can actually now qualify to win Best Picture of the Year. These qualifications now they have to be checked off. You have to qualify. In order to qualify to receive or to be nominated for Best Film, you had to have 2 of the 4 categories in place, okay? Academy leaders light up like theater marquees when talking about the standards, calling them a success, and pointing to a 2023 survey of members in which 85% of respondents said it was important for the organization to lead on representation, inclusion, and equity. But critics from an array of perspectives in the film industry have described the standards as the equivalent of tinsel, flimsy, and showy, doing more to gild Hollywood's image than to help people the movie business has long overlooked. So the question is, are these standards of great provisional way for us to ensure that we have diversity, equity, and inclusion in making sure that these films that want to qualify to win Best Picture at the Academy, which is the highest, of course, grandeur event and accolade that the industry can provide, do we feel like these qualifications apply, and should they apply? Or do you agree with some of the critics that it's too showy, it's going overboard, and we should just let anyone who has a film qualify and let it be that? What do you guys think?
Well, it's film, it's entertainment. Anything is good to a person's eye that make them laugh should be considered entertainment in their own eyes. Freedom of, I guess we go back to the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment. I guess freedom of speech, freedom of expression.
Interesting, thank you.
Okay, I just believe that because we know how Hollywood has behaved toward non-white people, they need to begin with some standards. And it also needs to include sufficient or equal pay. They need to add that. Each one who is assigned or hired to perform should be equally paid to someone else who's doing basically the same type of work. So yeah, we need it's a beginning. It may not be perfect, but it's a start. But we definitely need standards because that means the movies will become, I think, a better quality. The more diverse it is, we'll learn a lot more because movies are very influential. So we'll get quality that way too. And people who want to aspire to be actors or even in the Hollywood business in any form or fashion will have a good opportunity with these standards in place. Thank you.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Come on up.
Yeah, so I do believe that the standards that you have in place, if you're going to pay people equally and give them an equal opportunity to show their films and stuff, then you have to consider how to work on the people that feel like they've been there, they have more experience or have done more, you know, and been around for a longer time too. Because then that's how it you know, if you're a senior at something, you expect to be treated a little better. And maybe in some instances that'll work, but in some instances it shouldn't be like that. So as far as it goes, you know, what level you on, then you should be treated equally. And then to see what people would like to see, you know, your particular things as of, you know, as part of other people, and that way you can see more about it, you know?
I think that's a good point too. Thank you for sharing. Oh, look who it is, y'all. Ahmed in the house.
My name is Ahmed Keel Kamil. I'm a Morehouse senior, major in computer science. And I know that what I'm about to say doesn't directly answer your question, but I wanted to speak just a little bit about DEI as it has affected my life and the life of many of my friends. When we talk about DEI, and specifically people who are afraid of DEI, understand that it comes from people who have an inability to accept America as it is as unfair. They see America as its base as fair. They cannot accept the fact that America is already on fire. There's already inequality. And so when they see black people actually getting opportunity, what they don't see is the centuries of black people who have already been robbed. We're not taking people who are unqualified. We're taking the black people who have been qualified but got overlooked and giving them the shot.
I'm sorry, y'all. He's just so grown up to me. He's like so sophisticated now. I can't take it. Thank you. Oh, Ahmed is, he is one of our leaders of Huddle. I would just say that because once you know, he's been going on doing amazing things, but, you know, he is one of our leaders of Huddle. He's a senior now at Morehouse College in Atlanta, and he's been with us since he was in high school, coming to Huddle, coming to help lead the forum. So it's always good to see, you know, our babies come back and join us. And share. So keep up the good work. You know that we love you and we support you, and we're so proud of you, Ahmed. Thank you for joining us. Oh, he's on spring break and he's not in Miami. He's here at the Huddle. Okay, so what do they say? Train up a child. Okay. So as we see, thank you. We love you and we appreciate you.
Hi, Junkie here, and I wanted to talk about diversity.
Sorry.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. In the motion picture business is also like the TV business, and they're called stars. And as we could see, people don't want to watch the news anymore, and the news, they were stars too, the anchors. So diversity always was in America, but some people are jealous and they wanted to take over. Equity means, you know, the worth that you have and what you're going to do with it. So movie stars usually are associated with being millionaires, and it's feast or famine because they get their money at a certain time and they have to wait for it. But the most important thing is the stories and the inclusion, because inclusion actually, and a point of finance, it means people with disabilities. So people with disabilities, the government has money for them and gives extra money for them. So when you have inclusion, you have to be very careful, and I think that the inclusion should be dropped and it should be diversity and equity, because that is our money. And right now, our country doesn't have money because we don't have television. And a perfect example is Kennedy is running for president on the Democratic ticket. Now, they make fundraisers, thousands of dollars and stuff like that, but we don't see it in ads, or even, I don't hear Reverend Al talking about it, and he's a Democrat.
Who wants to come up? I know y'all are itching, so come on, Christian, I saw you. Come on, just bring it on.
of the AI.
I just want to correct something. I'm sorry. I don't normally do this. This is normally Ashley's job, but I just, you have to be careful sometimes. Things aggravate me just a little bit. I'm sorry. But let me say something. I do not think that we should take the I out of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have to include everyone. Yes, we want there to be diversity. We want there to be equity, but inclusion is necessary. Inclusion does not just mean black people, but it stands for all people. And so we need to understand that. It stands for women. It stands for Latinos. It stands for people with disability. That is what the I is for. And so I don't want people to think that it's just about race. And also, I want to tell you something else. RFK is not on the Democratic ticket anymore. So we also have to say that. He is not running on the Democratic ticket. He is on, I think, the Libertarian or something, the Green Party, whatever that is. And so Rev don't need to speak about it. It's okay. Rev talks to us every Saturday and speaks to DEI and all of that. Okay? So I just had to say that. Come on, sister. You already talked. No, you can't correct me. Come on.
Okay. Let's keep our decorum now.
I don't have cable. I have the internet that Mayor Adams put out because I live in the development. And the lady asked me, what is the development? I said, I live in the projects. I mean, you act like you don't understand that. I mean, she was not understanding it, and I was like, why you don't understand that? And then I told her about her Social Security check, like Rev is talking about when he was talking about his friend. And the lady was like, I never heard nothing about they trying to cut out our checks. I said, you're trying to get rid of a lot of stuff and bring it back, but y'all don't listen. I said, you need to listen to 1190 a.m. on Saturday.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you so much. So, I got 2 lines. Okay, so the bottom line is that we are seeing DEI, actually expanding. So a lot of the times, they're reporting on how DEI is definitely being challenged in a lot of corporations and industries across the country, but in entertainment, and especially as it relates to the academy. And part of this is young people understanding your history and knowing that Reverend Sharpton and NAN fought to make the Oscars not so white. Remember Oscars so white? So a few years ago, okay? So I'm gonna do a little a little pat, because it was Reverend Sharpton and NAN and a lot of our community leaders that took to the streets to say and protest Oscars so white. And to make some of these provisions that we are seeing, even though, like Reverend Sharpton always says, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So even though this was a few years ago, we are seeing the provisions and the work that was put in because people were on the ground protesting and making sure that our voices were heard, and the fact that we don't want it to be Oscar so white. We're seeing these provisions being taken seriously and being implemented, and so we have to definitely understand our roles and and how we continue to play these roles and the effectiveness of progress that we are seeing across the globe. So don't stop coming to the protests. Y'all may feel like, on Thursdays it's like, I gotta do this, and this don't really make sense. I don't really see where the projection of, us doing this every week, where's it gonna lead? But we may not see it right now. We might see it years from now when people are looking back saying, well, they really was like, because they demonstrated every week for so-and-so amount of time, we have to take these DEI, we have to take these provisions very seriously. So just wanted to echo that and definitely applaud the work of National Action Network and our leadership, Reverend Sharpton, for staying out there and keeping these issues on the forefront. Thank you.
Let's give Dominique a hand for that great talk about the Oscars. But also, let me say this before Patrice comes up. We love to talk about the Oscars, but we never speak and talk about black award shows that we have. Maybe if we stop just talking about the Oscars, we can uplift, because the BET Awards are still existing. And so we need to uplift the BET Awards. We need to uplift the Griot Awards. Rev won last year. Not many people even know what the Griot Awards are. So if we start lifting up black entertainment, if we start lifting up black people that are doing great things, we're going to see the results that we want. And as Dominique said, and Ashley told us before, because of the protesting that we have been doing with DEI, and the strives that we're making with DEI, people are coming up with negative things on top of the good things that are already coming. So we cannot fall asleep and say, yes, we see some good things, but while these little good things are happening, there are 10 other bad things to stop diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we need to stay awake and keep our eyes open and stay awake. All right? All right, Patrice is coming with her Did You Know on... I forgot what it is, but she'll tell y'all.
It's okay, Christian, we're here for you. So my Did You Know article is about Biden's State of the Union. How many people watched that? Come on, be honest. Okay, I see some hands going up. That's interesting. Black political leaders respond to Biden's State of the Union. President Joe Biden delivered the final State of the Union of his first term in office on Thursday night, making a bold appeal to the American people to give him another term in office and highlighting the existential threat to our democracy. Black Americans will once again buy a critical demographic in this election for Biden. But are Black Americans buying what this president is selling? Here's what prominent Black political leaders had to say about the State of the Union. A friend and member of National Action Network, Minority House Leader Hakeem Jeffries, he said, President Biden showed up, delivered a forceful speech, and smoked the MAGA extremists. My dude. He posted that. Representative Ayanna Pressley, another friend to NAN. However, some Black Democrats raised concerns that Biden's actions on key issues like Gaza didn't match his rhetoric. Presidential intent is powerful, and actions speak louder than words. We need a lasting, indefinite ceasefire now to save lives, return the hostages, and deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza, and have a moral, humanitarian, and political mandate to make that happen, said Representative Ayanna Pressley. Congresswoman Cori Bush said she didn't need to say a word to express her feelings about the State of the Union. While Biden spoke, she and Representative Rashida Tlaib held up signs with lasting ceasefire now, while donning black and white Palestinians. However, she did praise Biden for his comments on wealth inequity and taxing the rich fairly. Vice President Kamala Harris, she said she had nothing but praise for her running mate. President Biden delivered a strong and powerful State of the Union, she wrote. With his passion, he showed he is ready to keep up the fight for another 4 years. Senator Tim Scott, representative, of course a Republican, also sounded off about the State of the Union ahead of Biden's speech. Senator Tim Scott laid out what he wanted to hear from Biden and said, unfortunately, he didn't hear it. President Biden should kick off his State of the Union address with 2 words. He said it should say, I'm sorry to the American people. Congressman Byron Donalds, a Republican from Florida, who was briefly considered for the speakership, was highly critical of Biden's speech. Biden is right. Freedom and democracy are under attack in America. His administration is attacking opponents with lawfare. His administration censored journalists and social media. His administration cite the FBI on Catholics and parents. Yes, Joe, history is watching you. It's watching you destroy America. Former Republican National Committee Chair Michael Steele, former Republican National Committee Chair who endorsed Biden over Trump in 2020, weighed in, calling out the behavior of his fellow Republicans during the State of the Union. Well, that was a moment. He said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall as a reminder of the Russian threat, and more Democrats applauded than Republicans sat still. So my question to you is, well, as Rev said about President Biden on Saturday, that a lot of people were saying that he took some good medication and that he was focused at his State of the Union. But I have a question. So do you think that we as African Americans still believe in Biden's theory of why he should get another term in presidency?
To begin that conversation, I do not think that the African American community is really in tune with the president. And it goes back to what we talked about last week. The president has done some great things. The president in modern history, I'm not going to say that he's been, well, I haven't been alive as long as everybody else in here, but the president this has been the best president so far in modern history. What does that mean? He has had the most productive first two legislative years than any other president in their first two legislative years. He was able to get the help of both Democrats and Republicans. We have to understand that the president has been in Congress for over 20 years. There have been people that are current leaders in the Senate and House of Representatives that can't even bring one party together. This man has not brought just his party together, but has also brought the other side together, including some of the MAGA Republicans. But what we're dealing with now is a total MAGA wave that we're starting to see over black people, because it's like Rev talked about. Trump is now trying to make it like he, what's the word I'm looking for? That he relates to black people and that he relates to the struggle. Why? Because he has chains. Now he's wearing chains. Now he has sneakers. And we all know that one thing black people would do is that even when they don't have money for their rent, they will make sure that their sneakers are fly. They will make sure that they have the number one Jordans, no matter if they cost the same amount as their rent. They will pay for $600 worth of hair that will start falling out within 2 weeks of having it, instead of maintaining what they have. So in all of that to be said, do I feel like the African American community is with President Biden? No. But is that his fault? A little bit. Because he has to work on his messaging and he has to get to the people that he wants to reach. I don't think that just because we're black that he should believe that we're voting for him. His record says that we should, but just because I'm black does not mean that I am. Okay.
I like that. Thank you. And remember again, as you're watching us on live, that these are the thoughts of the members, not of the organization.
I think whenever we talk about politicians and their support for the black community, the best way to ask black people for their support is to show them why you deserve it. That is always the best way to do it. Has Biden done that? I think, like my brother said before, to a certain extent. The way he handled COVID, I thought was great, and the Juneteenth holiday and the student loan stuff has been awesome. But the way that he has disregarded the homelessness while giving millions and billions to Israel is, sort of disgusting. The allowance of genocide across the country, the allowance of colonialism across the country, across the world is disgusting. And so I think it's been a mixed bag. I think that, obviously compared to Trump and the majority of conservatives, I'm personally willing to go to him over all those other people, but we should all continue to seek political education and find politicians who show up and actually support us, put in laws that actually make a difference in our day-to-day lives.
Thank you so much. I love it. Come on, Word.
Yeah. So the reality of it is we have a choice of Republican or Democrat. Who is this Republican? We already know who this person is, particularly from New York. He wants to be a criminal even in the presidency. No, he's made that real clear. He wants to be given permission to be a criminal in the presidency. Real clear. So Biden is nowhere near perfect, and he owns it. He owns it, but he also owns the fact that he knows how to pick an administrative team that will do their best when everybody's in place. Right now, there's a whole House that's full of racists and will not let certain laws pass for President Biden to sign off on. The mistake that a lot of people make is thinking the presidency is one person by themselves. No, that's dictatorship. Biden needs a good team. And in order to get a good team, we have to vote. That's it and that's all. We know for a fact there's people who are more for the well-being of all people, particularly black people, on the Democratic side, straight up. The Republicans are making it real clear how far back they want us to go. And even calling that place our place. Put him in our place. No, that place is a place you're designated. We don't want to be in that place. So we got to vote for democracy, straight up. And once we get that, then we can start making our suggestions, and this time I think they're going to get everything right. Sign off on the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Sign off on the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Get back affirmative action. Get back medical reproductive rights for women. Everything that they took, they can give it back, but we got to vote.
Come on, word. I know that. Drops mic.
Amen. My name is Reverend Gary. Most of you don't know me, but you know my face because I've been around. Amen. My thought is that a lot of what Word said is on point, but the alternative is a psychopath. And this man will continue to put his foot in his mouth. And we are going to see a stark difference between him and Joe Biden. Biden is not perfect by no stretch of the imagination. Some of those things we've talked about. But my thing is that it's unfortunate we'll only have a two-party system, but within the system, we know who's right.
That's right.
We know that Biden and the administration, with Kamala Harris, as much as they hate her, they will prevail. Because the alternative is so foreign, so disgusting, that we can't make that mistake. So I'm going to leave with this one note. Reverend Dr. King said, truth crushed to earth will rise. No lie can live forever.
You better say that. All right, y'all on fire tonight. Come on, Tony.
The fact that we even talking about whether blacks should vote for Biden is so stupid. The reason is because it's either vote for Biden or vote for Trump. And Trump, if he was listening to me now, he would come up with 3 or 4 nicknames to put me down, or at least try, because he can't put me down. I grew up in the South Bronx. Can't play that. I'm Homie the Clown. So seriously, this is about quality of character. And Biden is a servant king. He's about have it your way. Is he perfect? No, but I ain't never seen a perfect president.
Never.
But the point is that he's about taking care of us. He said that. He's thrown it in their face, and that's why Mike Johnson kept looking like, I'm not standing up for this guy. Because he didn't want to put himself in a position to get put down again, and he couldn't get the mic. It ain't about black and white. It's about narcissism versus generosity and wisdom. And Biden's been in politics for 40, 50 years, and Trump ain't really been in politics. He still ain't in politics. He's in marketing and making money. So, yeah, forget about that. Screw that. I don't care. And he's from New York. You don't think we can see who you is, yo? Come on, cut that out. Anyhow, I'm complete.
Thank you so much, and that's all he got, y'all. I love it. Come on, brother. Tell us.
Well, Byron, I'm not Biden. I don't like inflation. Inflation is, I look in the stores, I be like, oh my God, dang. The candy, $3, $2.50. Gotta go to BJ's Wholesale. Ain't helping us. And I was saying how Biden and Kamala Harris and all the other stuff that we should have been signed off, that marijuana should have been legal. And marijuana was legal back in 1800s, before 1900 when they made it illegal, before Henry Ford found out how he did all the gas and all that. Biden, I go back to like Al Gore, that's when I first started. And I found out where they was taking the ballot and taking the votes. And then found out that his brother was in Texas. Then you found out Kerry Washington was the Attorney General, fourth generation cousin.
So do you think that African Americans are still going to support Biden in this new presidential election?
Me, money don't make me or break me. They just worrying about money. And like Ashley and Dominique said, Trump did not sign off money. That was Congress. And people be mad at me when I tell them that. It was Congress. And then I tell them about, oh, they be mad at me because I really be backing up Al Sharpton. They be like, oh, yo, why he ain't speak in the 80s? How can he speak in the 80s? He spoke, but he couldn't really speak. He had a background, he had people. He couldn't really speak. Who's a Trump? Who's him? Look at him now. They can't stop him now.
That's right. Thank you so much. This mic is hot tonight. So you coming up to answer the question. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Nobody is perfect, but Biden has one thing going for him, that he served as a senator and he has been an elected official. Trump too, but not that long, and we know about him. But nobody's perfect, and Kennedy is running as an independent, and there are other parties, independent, conservative, and liberal. So all I'm saying is I feel bad for all of them right now, because once we lost the free TV, our country started to get taken over, and Biden, they accuse him of a crime, they're bringing up his son, they're judging his character. There's a lot of dirty deals going on, and even with Trump.
So your question,
NAN supports
the answer to my question
Biden,
is, do you think
yeah, I think African Americans,
Mm-hmm.
I think today it's a really tough decision because I really believe that the artificial intelligence is trying to control all of our elected officials. So we have to really be mindful of that. But I think that you should give each one a platform to come and speak to the different audiences, and I object that that's not going on. That's why I mentioned Kennedy, who's an independent, and his family died serving, two of them, God in this country.
Thank you so much. And Ms. Sandra's going to come and wrap us up.
I look at how the world is since I've been a teenager and looking at news, how he's sitting up there trying to make this world like Russia. He's trying to make America like Russia.
So you think African Americans still believe in his presidency?
Some of the people that, some black men that I come down on the assessor ride with, I talk to them, and they're going that way. I'm not going his way. Because he's a mob man.
And again, these are the thoughts and viewpoints of our members and not the organization. Sir, come up and tell us your thoughts. Do you think African Americans are still believing in President Biden's candidacy?
I'm not sure. Not really a political guy. Not really into politics. Just here to support the community. My good friend, my cousin, asked me to come up, and Mookie asked me to come up and support. Came from Pennsylvania. I'm an entrepreneur. I own a recording studio, a multimedia center in New Jersey. I'm from this community. I'm from the Bronx, and basically, I'm just letting the youth know here that you can do anything you put your mind to if you come from the ghettos of Harlem or the Bronx, Brooklyn. you can put your mind.
Thank you so much, but I needed you to stay on topic and answer my question, because that's what we were talking about now.
I have no.
This is our Did You Know articles. Yes, thank you so much. And I want to just wrap this up by saying that, and thank you, brother, for traveling. We appreciate you. But I also want to just stick on topic, because when we come up here and do Did You Know, we want to make sure that we're on point. So as I wrap up, and I was talking about the black political leaders and their response to Biden's State of the Union. So what I want to do is to see more, as a voter, just me, myself, I would like to see the Biden administration show us a little bit more of what they're doing. I know they've done a lot since they've been in office with his administration. As Word said, it's not just one person, it's a group of people and administration. But I think he needs to show us more of a report card of the stuff and the great things that they have done across this nation, so that many people who are kind of feeling down about, voting for him, or whatever your thought is, at least we can see the report card as to what he absorbed and what he has now tried to correct. So we want you to stay in the know, but whatever you do, do not stay home and don't vote, okay? Voting is key, and whoever you vote for, even if you go in and write in Donald Duck, do not sit home. Again, as we talked about the Edmund Pettus Bridge, many people were beaten on that bridge just for the right to vote. So how dare you stay in your bed on election day? So again, this is the National Action Network, and we are nationally going to stay on this topic. Biden and Kamala Harris, we need to see more of a report card on the things that you have done so that we can make our decision. And that wraps up my Did You Know. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patrice. Normally, y'all know that when we get to a certain hour that I say that we're going to just save the last Did You Know for another week. But this final Did You Know today is very important. And I'm glad that Ashley gave it to us in the back, because I don't think that a lot of people know what's going on. And so I want y'all to be aware that a gunman has kidnapped nearly 300 students in northwest Nigeria. 2 days later, some are starting to lose hope of ever finding them. All about one of her 6 children are among the nearly 300 students that have been abducted from their school in Nigeria's northwest, riddled with Islamic extremists and armed gangs. It has been more than 2 days after her children, ages 7 to 18, went to school in a remote town only to be kidnapped by a gunman. She has still been in shock since Saturday. Authorities said at least 100 children are aged 12 or younger were among the abductees in the state known for violent killings, lawlessness, and dangerous roads where people get regularly snatched. Even though this is regular, it is not regular for over 300 children to be kidnapped. We don't know what to do, but we believe in God, someone told the Associated Press. The mass kidnapping was the 3rd in northern Nigeria since last week. This is the third mass kidnapping. And a mass kidnapping, that means a lot of people. A group of gunmen abducted 15 students from a school in another northwestern state before the dawn on Saturday, and just a few days earlier, 200 people, mostly women and children, were displaced by the conflict and were kidnapped in northeast Borno state. The kidnappings are a stark reminder of the security crisis plaguing Africa's most populous country. So while we have a president that cares so much about Ukraine, while we have people in Congress that care so much about the Israel and Hamas conflict, as they should, okay, there are kidnappings of children, women, young people that have happened, and this is now the third mass shooting in 1 week. I'm sorry, mass kidnapping. My apologies, Lord. Mass kidnapping in just 1 week. One was over 300, the other was over 200, and the third was over 30 people. No group has claimed responsibility of any of the recent abductions, but Islamic extremists waging an insecurity in the Northeast region are suspected of carrying out the kidnappings in Brno. It's time for a student. It's not the first time that a student kidnapping in Nigeria, which has shook the world. In 2014, Islamic extremists abducted more than 200 schoolgirls from Brno's school, sparking the global Bring Back Our Girls social media campaign. And a decade later, over 1,400 Nigerian students have so far been abducted from their schools in similar circumstances. Some are still held captive to this day, including nearly 100 of the girls from 2014. Recalling Thursday's kidnapping, a teacher told the Associated Press that students were just settling in their classrooms at the government primary and secondary school when a gunman came in dozens, driving on bikes and shooting rapidly. The LEA primary and secondary school, one of the few educational facilities in this area, sits by the road just at the entrance of the town, tucked in the middle of forest and savanna. Even with its decaying roof and wrecked walls, it gave parents hope for a better future for their children. They surrounded the school and blocked all passages and roads and entrances and exits to prevent help from coming before kidnapping the children in just under 5 minutes. I'm going to give you guys one more piece of information that I feel y'all should have. Experts say it is easy to smuggle in arms used in kidnapping over Nigeria's poorly policed borders. More than half of its 1,500-kilometer or 932-mile border with Niger, for instance, stretches across the northwest. Though mostly covered with woodland savanna, the region also has vast ungoverned and unoccupied forests, which organized gangs hide and keep their kidnapped victims. In 2022, lawmakers passed a bill to penalize those that go for ransom payment, but Nigerian kidnappers are known for their brutality, forcing many families to succumb to their demands. Nigeria's military continues to conduct air raids and special military operations in the region, as well as respond to pockets of crisis across the country, but is fatigued by the 14-year Islamic insurgency in the Northeast. For over 14 years, this region has been in a civil conflict within itself. And it happened after many of the colonizing countries, as I'm going to call it, were there and then just got up and left. Left no resources, left no way for them to help. These were countries that depended, or that always had to depend, on a foreign country for the supplies that they needed. Nigeria was a country, for those that need history, Nigeria was a country that was under the British Commonwealth. They had broke away from the British Commonwealth in the early 2000s. They were one of the first major African countries to break away from the British Commonwealth. One of the first. in modern history. I don't know what happened before that, but do the research if you don't believe me. I know what I'm saying, though. But anyhow, with all of that being said, my question, or if y'all want to come up and make comments, because it's 8:03 and I want us to be done in 12 minutes. So be brief. But really, my comment that I want to make before y'all come, but y'all can start coming, is because this country has already relied on another country for help, they did not have the resources to begin to develop as a country. Nigeria is considered a third world country. We're not supposed to use that terminology no more, but that's what they are still considered. So my question to you is, America can give money to Ukraine and Russia. That really truly has nothing to do with us, if you really think about it. It does when it comes down to foreign relations and, wanting to keep the peace between NATO and BRIC and all that other stuff. But we really have no direct issue with the conflict that is going on. That's one. We can give money to Israel and Hamas, which they do need the help. We can give money to places in South America that are dealing with the same issue. I want y'all to hear me. South America also has high rates of kidnapping. We talked about this a while ago when Dominique and I were talking about, as black people, making sure that we are covered when we travel to certain foreign countries, including in South America and the Caribbean. So I want us to be aware of that as well. Black people are kidnapped every day and nothing happens, including in the city of New York. Black children go missing in this neighborhood, leaving schools in this community, and NYPD just puts out an Amber Alert, and children are still missing from the Harlem community to this day. So with all of that being said, kidnappings are on a rise. People are scared to travel. People are scared to go places. I just want to know, how do you feel about 300 children going missing? And where do you feel that the United States, or even if not the United States, the country that used to be the colonizers, the country that used to have reign over them, which is the British Commonwealth, that are billionaires. I want you to know the British family is worth billions. And they can give $1 billion and get it back in just a month. How do you feel about the issue that is going on currently? And how do you feel that countries around the world should rally behind Nigeria as we are rallying behind other countries that are going through similar crises? All right, Janka. Bless you.
Okay. Well, Nigeria has a president, President Bola Tinubu or something, and they have, like us, an executive, legislative, and judicial branch. But there's an international organized crime, and there's a lot of gangs. And I heard people from here, from Nigeria, saying they have a king. So I do know one thing. Kidnapping is wrong. It's heartbreaking. It's the most terrible crime there ever is. I had that situation. I want to talk about it. But I heard that what's happening right now is some land in Mozambique, there's a national wildlife refuge. And some people went in there, and I heard it was from Nigeria, and they're taking the coffee plant trees and they're making a business. Now that can be part of what's going on, because sometimes people don't know how to talk and have a negotiation, so they do violence. But I do know it's supposed to have a president and be in a republic, but people here tell me there's a king. So that could be part of the problem. And sometimes land is supposed to be kept virgin, and in our own country, Governor's Island was not supposed to have citizens using it. It was supposed to be New York and New Jersey virgin land, because if you can't keep the virgin land, you can't keep it with the people filled.
God bless you. All right. Give it up for Janka. She stayed on topic. Praise God.
You go back to Bill Clinton when they was talking about Monica Lewinsky. Hello? Yeah. Monica Lewinsky, and they was focusing on him and her when there was a whole massacre going on in Kosovo. And Bill Clinton was the one that signed, when you have a gun charge, a second felony, you get federal time. So he took our black males away from the family in those times. And they speak about it in the book, the new Jim Crow laws. It's not good that 300 children is missing. And Biden need to put the money where it need to be.
All right.
Russia and Ukraine is not with us.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, a few more minutes. Okay, come on.
I think the sad reality of foreign affairs and countries within foreign affairs is that countries don't have hearts, and so they don't do anything within the goodness of their heart. At the end of the day, when we talk about who America or whomever puts their money towards, it's who can benefit them in the future. Like you said, it's always about what connections we're making, what networking we have. It's never, ever going to be about, oh, who actually needs the most help. That's never been the American way, unfortunately. And so when it comes to these foreign affairs, that's just how this stuff goes. Of course, it would be incredible if America actually, tried to right some of their wrongs and improve situations that they themselves or
Right
other
some of their wrongs.
colonial powers, messed up. But they're going to keep supporting Israel and these other corrupt nations because they benefit each other.
What are you studying in school?
I'm actually studying computer science.
Okay, never mind. I thought you was in political science. Okay, give it up
Thank
for
you.
him. He sounds like it though. Computer science.
So it's real clear and evident everywhere people are after children and trying to hurt them and take them out. And this is something that prompts me to want to be around the youth. I may not get it all right at first, but 300 kids being taken, you're doing this multiple times. Our country, the big power it is, you can go over here and help for medals and goals, but when you see a whole country with kids going down, it's like, oh well, it doesn't make sense. And so this is like something we all have to work on. What about the child inside of you? If you can take care of the child inside of you and look at that, then you can look at a physical child and want to take better care of them.
Thank you. All right, last comment. What time is it? Okay, good. Praise God. Sabrina, okay.
I've watched what you had, I listened what you said about in 2014.
Yes.
They taken the children, because even with the children that are here in America, they're sitting around McDonald's and it's Ukraine people or people that are up in the Bronx. Our children these men are sitting in these restaurants and preying on our children. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
Okay, Sabrina's the last person. Come on, Sabrina.
I just want to say, right, if we supposed to care about the people in Africa, they got over 30-something children missing in Washington, D.C. And nobody's talking about that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that is true. Sabrina, what's the number again? That is true.
It's over 30.
Over 30 children in the District of Columbia, which is, actually D.C. is not a state, but they consider D.C. with the highest African-American population in the United States. But in my closing with this, did you know, we can give money to foreign governments. We can give our money, because this is not just money, this is our money. Those that pay taxes, at least. This is our money that we are giving to these foreign countries. Yes, they are in conflicts. But we have not truly seen America stand behind black countries. We have seen America go to defense for the UK. We've seen America go to defense for France. We've seen America go to defense for Ukraine, for Poland, for every country, but have not touched or stepped foot into the continent of Africa. And so if we are able to help the white populated countries, why are we unable to help the black populated countries? When black people are the people that were taken from their homeland, brought here, and built up their country. But back to Sabrina's point, why can we also not help with the kidnappings that happen in our own backyard? There is no reason why 30 children should be missing in the District of Columbia, which seats the House of Government, that seats the FBI, that seats the CIA, that seats Homeland Security. Every form of government that you could, literally every building is in Washington, D.C., or if it's not in Washington, D.C., right across the bridge in Maryland, or right across the bridge in Virginia. And it's 20 minutes away from the White House. So with all of this intelligence that we have, we can't deal with our own issues here. Children go missing. What Minister Cassandra said is right. You have the children hanging out outside in the summertime, hanging out after schools, but then you have these older people that are sitting there watching them, watching where they're going home, and they sit there every day at the same time from Monday to Friday, and when they come back next Monday, they can't find their children. Why? Because people are preying on our young people. And it is really, truly affecting, and I have to say this, black people are some of the highest affected when it comes down to kidnapping and when it comes down to not being able to find our children. And that is statistically proven, that black children are the reason why, are part of those that have gone missing. So I'm done with my Did You Know? It's, it's 8:45. Miss Kathy's ready to go home. Everybody stand. We're going home. I'm done. I'm done. Give yourselves a hand one more time for God. She said, good, 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 good. Stretch away. Wait. Where's everybody going? We didn't pray. We're not dismissed. Y'all moving like y'all, Lord help us. Let's pray. All hearts and minds are clear. All eyes closed. All heads bowed and all bodies are still. God, we thank you for this time and this opportunity that you have brought us here. Thank you for all of those that contributed. Thank you for getting us here safely. Now, God, we ask that you bless the food. Thank you for the hands that prepared it. Thank you for the serving crew. Thank you for Miss Kathy, Goldie, everybody that is there. Thank you for Ashley and the vision that you have given her. Thank you for Dominique, Patrice, myself, and all the other staff of the NAN Youth in College and NAN Youth Huddle staff. Thank you for our founder, the Reverend Al Sharpton. Thank you for Attorney Hardy. Thank you for Dr. Bird, all the leaders of the National Action Network. We thank you for them. Now, God, as we leave this place, but never from your presence, get us to our appointed destination safely and find all things well. In Jesus' name, amen. Y'all are dismissed.